Well, you know what I think?
Who cares what you think? You're a girl now.
Fairly Odd Parents. Eventually, when you have a kid with Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, right.
Alright, the Fairly Odd Parents. We just take the time to acknowledge how goddamn good of a show that was way back in the day. Perfectly incorporated the mind of a child, causing conflicts due to the power given to him, within a very well-established world that was always funny and surprisingly deep at times, but I was obsessed with it for years, but it sadly had a massive decline like no other. Like, show only had 10 seasons. Now, you may be thinking 10? Oh, it could have been like that bad of a decline. It's only 10 seasons, not like The Simpsons where it went on for 400 of them. But then you look at the episode's air dates, and it continuously would on and off come back, so there were seasons from every year that it was on TV, but there's only 10 full seasons. But it was painfully stretched out from 2007 to 2017, so there's 16 goddamn years worth of episodes. Not saying that you have to do all your seasons at once, but like goddamn, it was clear that they just had no ideas, but they still wanted to keep it on the air for so goddamn long.
Making the show, it did get canceled 5 times. They said no more, you're all done. And just as I was finishing a season and thinking it was over, they would pick it up again because the ratings were so strong, because the audience, all of you, were so awesome and kept watching it, and I can't thank you enough for that.
And as soon as you thought they would fucking kill it, boom, it's back with like a couple new episodes, then it was just on and off, and it got fucking repetitive and terrible. And like, it's not like the decline was natural. Let's say The Office, for example, because apparently that's all you guys want me to fucking talk about is The Office. In my opinion, seasons 1 through 4 were great, 5 and 6 are still good, but it turned to shit with seasons 7, 8, and 9. But with the Fairly Odd Parents, you would figure that the quality would initially drop over time, but like, no. The gap between Fairly Odd Parents season 5 and season 6 was fucking insane. Like, it dropped that goddamn hard. And there are just so many awful new characters. Poof wasn't horrible, he was just added to do absolutely fucking nothing to the show. Poochie, I mean Sparky, is literally the equivalent of making the Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie show, but in reality, which is actually what they did. Oh, then there's Chloe, one of the absolute worst Mary Sues I've ever fucking seen in any piece of media. Or Foop, the anti-poo, was basically just PG Stewie Griffin, but the concept of Lowe's fails to understand the entire appeal of what made Stewie Griffin a popular character in the first place. Season 10, which aired from 2015 to 2017, was so goddamn lazy that they jumped to Flash animation. Yeah, okay, you know what, that's fine. The show's changing, technology's getting better. You might honestly have to do that. Sometimes, if a show is on the air for that goddamn long, they have to do that. But the animation in the season is so fucking fluid that it's distracting. Like, we've seen the characters in the hand-drawn style for like 9 other goddamn seasons, so we get used to how they look and move over time. And yeah, sure, on a technical level it's better, but everyone moves way too goddamn quick. It's really distracting since we're so used to the movement. Oh, but how could we get so many great episodes, such as the one where Poof is Donald Trump?
I brought some friends home. Well, one friend and one harbinger of doom. It's gonna be huge!
They were so lazy they didn't even bother to replicate the animation style in Season 10, and Season 10 is easily the worst out of all of them. But like, the Flanderization of the characters got even worse than what The Simpsons originally turned into, but in a much quicker span of time, and there's honestly much more to be said. I could do individual videos on certain episodes that are so fucking bad. The episode Timmy's Secret Wish, which aired in November of 2011, I don't think I actually watched until about October of 2013. That singular special episode made me give up on the show. He was that fucking bad. And Butch Hartman in general, his career's gone completely down the fucking toilet. Like, he made other shows for Nickelodeon, Danny Phantom, Tough Puffy, and Bunsen as a Beast, which is almost as fucking bad as the JoJo and Bobo show. I'm dead serious. It's that fucking bad. But eventually, we won. Like, the day that they announced that Fairly Odd Parents, I think a piece of me finally revived itself. Like, holy hell, that was a relief. Same thing's gonna happen when The Simpsons finally ends, but oh my god. I just kept thinking, we won. We fucking killed this bitch. Let's go. And Fairly Odd Parents didn't even end with some grand finale. It just ended with no fanfare. And keep in mind, it could always come back. It's probably not going to because Butch Hartman left Nickelodeon. And what did Butch Hartman do after that?
Internet?
Yep, that's right, he made his way to YouTube, and say unlike Jablinski Games, or just Jack Black, or Brie Larson, there's actually a point for his videos to exist. Sure, it's not great content, there is actual integrity, and I'm glad it exists for the people who are much bigger fans of his work than me, despite this guy kind of making my childhood, and me painfully fucking admitted that, considering where he's at right now. Now, Butch Hartman eventually made some other shows, such as Dino High, Family Fusion, Bug Girl, Hobby Kids Adventures, or his Christian show, The Garden, which cost $130 fucking for 6 5-minute episodes. What the hell? You seriously think people are gonna buy that? You could buy like 2 good shows that ran for 10 seasons for that price. And yeah, there's a lot more I have to say about him. For the sake of time, I won't. The biggest shit stain on his entire career in the Fairly OddParents franchise is the live-action movie. Fairly Odd Movie, Grow Up Timmy fucking Turner, came out in 2011 during season 8 of the show, and is supposed to be an epilogue, I guess, to the series that's not even fucking over yet and outlived the movie's lifespan. Like, it wasn't even over yet, so it was kinda hard to take seriously considering, wait, there's, what, like 6 more years worth of episodes left? So let's take a full look at Grow Up Timmy Turner. So anyway, we start out with our main lead, Drake Bell as Timmy Turner.
You know what, Cosmo and Wanda? What, Timmy? Out of all the wishes I've ever made, there's one thing I've always wished I'd wished for.
What's that, Timmy?
I wish I was Drake Bell.
Okay, you're the boss. Hello, handsome.
No way! Best wish ever!
And this was a fucking awful casting decision. You know, yeah, Drake Bell, that's who should play Timmy fucking Turner. Yeah, you know, the hot, egotistical guy from Drake and Josh. And, you know, he was good in that, so, oh shit, you gotta watch it now. He was in The Thing You Like. Yeah, you know, Drake Bell, this guy, is just playing this average buck-toothed kid that no one understands. Plus, this kid's a fucking retard, much like me anyway. Not one time does he wish for unlimited coochie throughout the entire series. What the fuck? But since the film was live action, it was clearly done out of recognizability from the network. Timmy Turner's 23 years old and still lives with his parents and is still in the 4th grade, and he still has his fairies because he never passed the 5th grade and he never moved out of the house, never got a job, pretty much never did anything that made him responsible according to the rules. Despite the fact that in the show, there's a large theme of acceptance that established that Cosmo and Wanda had kids before him, and they will have kids after him for years, and he won't remember them. And that large theme of acceptance is part of why I respect and still like the good episodes to date. And if you were obsessed with the show like me for years, then there are tons of notable inconsistencies between the show and the movie. And plus, the original show was incredibly consistent within the confines of its own established restrictions. And considering this made a jump to live action, it was not well handled at all from what works on an animated format and what works in reality. And clearly they planned none of the CG out. Like, look how terrible these fucking fairies look. And plus, half the time Drake Bell is even looking at the fucking fairies, which indicates they had no plan or marker or anything. Like, this is computer generated. Just switch the frame that they're in. Like, it's not that difficult. This is computer generated. How is this not easy to fix? The fairies just fly around like assholes half the time. They don't even have any place. And like I said, the fairies look fucking terrible. So this may remind you of something, the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour trilogy. These were crossover specials with Jimmy Neutron and the Fairly OddParents, which for specific segments they swapped art styles, in which the Jimmy Neutron characters in the Fairly OddParents universe look fine, but the Fairly OddParents characters in the Jimmy Neutron universe look fucking horrendous. Mainly because of the stylization of Butch Hartman's work does not translate well, but not only was it accurate to how it looked, even if it looked like shit, but it was also consistent with it. The Jimmy Neutron characters in the Fairly OddParents universe look consistent and good. They did an excellent job of translating the characters into the show. Like, I really don't see what's the point of fucking CGing them. I guess it's trying to be like every other live-action remake that was popular at the time. It just reminds me of that segment on Declassified Survival Guide with Cosmo and Wanda in it, but they're just in the normal show's art style. Like, why couldn't you do that? That looks much fucking better than this. They're just so lazily pasted in post. It looks fucking terrible. And when the fairies talk for long periods of time, they obviously didn't expect the monologue to go on as long as it did, so they just lazily blur the background when it zooms in. The fairies just look so splatted in last minute. It doesn't help that it looks like it's a cheap made-for-Nickelodeon TV movie. Oh wait, it is.
Gotcha, bitch!
How does he do it? How is it even possible,
Oh boy, here we go.
Yes! And now I remember, he has...
Shitty-ass movie.
Oh my god, look at this shit. Like, I'm not expecting, like, his hands to be bent like this, or his ears to be on his neck. Yeah, but, that looks fucking terrible. However, the one good thing about this movie, I will say, is that the guy playing Crocker is actually fucking amazing, and I'm impersonating the original character. Like, I'm dead fucking serious. This guy is actually great in this movie. Like, I unironically love him in this. But since Timmy is still in elementary school, it just is really unfunny, and it's kind of fucking creepy.
Best day ever! Crocker has diarrhea.
It's not like Billy Madison, which is funny because it pokes fun at how uncomfortable it is. But the setup is presented like he has this natural relationship with the rest of the class. Like, it's just fucking weird. Like, he's really good friends with his kids, which in Billy Madison, he's not. Anyway, Timmy continues to act like an autistic 9-year-old, and he sees that, yeah, some girl is doing something at some public service announcement. Then we get introduced to the big bad corporate villain that's not Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Doug Dimmadome? The owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome?
That's right, Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Nope, this villain is literally just fucking Donald Trump. I'm not joking. He's literally just fucking Donald Trump. Like, why wouldn't you make him Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome?
Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
That's what his character was in the original series.
Timmy Turner. He's checking us out.
Just like the ladies.
Yeah, that's right, Timmy T. Looks like AJ is all grown up and styling in a brand new Argyle sweat hat.
Oh my god, they really did my boys Chester and AJ dirty here. What the fuck? Anyway, Donald Trump tries to tear down a tree, but because there's a girl blocking it, Timmy is a simp and he decides to just wish away all the equipment. It's just like brushed off as like, oh, hurdy-dur, technical difficulties, sorry. Like, as far as the general public aware, that's not possible. What the hell? No one's questioning this? But anyway, it turns out that the girl that Timmy is simping for is actually Tootie. You know, from the show, who's the girl whose name means fart. And I don't understand why they thought getting a character from the show, entirely changing it, was a good idea. It's so stupid. Like, if you're gonna give Timmy a love interest, use the actual fucking love interest from the show. But anyway, Donald Trump gets a call from Crocker. They decide that they're gonna team up against Timmy, which again would have actually been cool if he was Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
That's right, Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Like, it would have been cool to see these characters come together. And like I said, the episode that made me give up on the show when I was a kid was Timmy's Secret Wish. Well, actually, the episode before that, When Losers Attack, will always stick in my head, not because it was a shit episode, but the entire concept of it was that it forced all the previous antagonists together, and they created a group called the League of Super Evil Revenge Seekers, the Losers. And don't get me wrong, it's like an Atlantis Square Pantis situation where I will always consider it one of the worst episodes, mainly because as a kid I hated it. Yes, I still remember the episode because of how shit it was, and it almost made me give up on the show, which the next episode did. But it's cool because we get to at least see previous villains come together and do something, so it could have worked here, which uses a very similar concept. No one wants Crocker to team up with some random corporate villain that is literally just fucking Donald Trump. Like, seeing the Doug Dimmadome hat gag in live action, like, that'd be fucking hilarious, but I guess that wasn't in the budget or something. But then we cut back to Timmy, and it turns out that because he's horny for Tootie, he's at risk of losing his fairies. Since they decide to go up on a date, Cosmo and Wanda try to fuck up his date by turning into humans, which I guess they can do now. You know, they're not actually human form in a majority of the movie, but when they are, it's just really fucking uncomfortable, partially because of just the unnecessary inclusion and the terrible performance between both of them. Don't get me wrong, not all the acting is horrible. Like I said, the guy playing Crocker is fucking amazing. Timmy's dad and Jorgen actually do a decent job, and regardless of how Jorgen looks ridiculous with his stupid ass staff, and Timmy's dad is played by Darren Norris, his real voice actor.
The want ads?
Really? Ooh, they need unskilled workers at that new dynamite factory. Sounds exciting and dangerous.
Which is also Cosmo's, which explains why they couldn't have live-action Cosmo played by Darren Norris. Actually, no, they probably could have gotten him if they actually fucking gave a shit and, you know, makeup and shit. They could have done that, but they're too lazy. But Drake Bell, hurdy-dur, goes on the date and it gets ruined because they pour food on Tootie's head. Yeah, the date goes horribly, but it would have been fine if Timmy just tipped his pink fedora like a true gentleman. But anyway, they go to the park from earlier, and then Timmy is there and he falls out of a tree.
Timmy!
Hey! You knocked him out of the tree! Nice!
Wasn't my plan, but I'll take it.
What you say? That you only meant well.
What happened, Timmy?
I fell out of a tree.
A few moments later.
Grow up, Timmy Turner!
Whoa, congrats guys, you said the fucking thing. They said the fucking thing. They said the fucking title of the movie. What the fuck? Anyway, Tootie finds a rabbit and she gets captured by Donald Trump.
Magnate's got Tootie! Hooray!
Yay, selling an innocent woman's kidnapping. That's fucking epic. Hooray!
Well, I mean, it's good that she gets to ride in a limo, right? Yeah!
Well, I'm glad to see that Poof's not acting like a fucking retard. Oh yeah, Poof is in this movie, I forgot. Because, much like the original series, there's no fucking point to him at all. Now, like I've established, Poof wasn't insufferable like Sparky or Chloe or anything, but babies almost always in sitcoms are generally fucking useless. They're babies, they don't do shit. And like, why is Poof still a baby? This is set like 13 years later. I get the fairy aging scale is different, but he figured he would age like a little bit. Like, you could actually make Poof at an age where he could fucking do something. God fucking damn it, Butch Hartman. Yeah, that's right, Butch Hartman and Scott Fellows, you know, the guy who made Super Noobs, that great anime, and one of my all-time favorites, Johnny Testicles, which, if you didn't know, is epic.
Okay, we want answers. Why did you resist a police officer?
Why are you police officers?
I blew up Malaysia.
Don't worry, little fairy.
Yeah! Thanks to my atomic fairy incarcerator, I'll show that Timmy Turner that I now have possession of his fairy
Oh, hey, look, that new Ghostbusters movie, which people are only going to like because the kid from Stranger Things is in it, maybe doesn't look that bad after all. But since both Tootie and the fairies are captured, it's up to Drake Bell to save them. But Tootie and the fairies are being held at Donald Trump's evil lair, which is just some, like, McDonald's-themed underground meth lab or something. So anyway, Donald Trump starts draining the fairies' power to make retarded wishes, which are nothing but just stupid throwaway jokes, and he brings an action figure to life, which again is just an action figure, and like, why not have it be Darth Laser or any of the superhero characters, most notably Nega Chin. I know that sounds like I said something else, but that's his actual name, guys.
The Nega Chin!
Like, there are tons of superhero characters. Why couldn't you have it be one of the superhero characters? Anyway, Timmy gets in the building and finds that the fairies are at risk of dying because they have their power drained, which is pretty fucking stupid thing for Donald Trump to do. And so yeah, Timmy has to fight the robot, which has batteries for some reason, even though it was like a tiny action figure earlier. Like, those don't have fucking batteries, let alone two of them. But Timmy confesses his love for Tootie, making the magic go away, which means that Timmy has officially become an adult, even though falling in love, both in the context of real life and the show, does not make you an adult. But then the fairies disappear, Trump goes fucking crazy, and they live happily ever after and probably have tons of premarital sex, if you know what I'm saying. But nope, a new rule is passed that anyone named Timmy Turner that has saved the world on multiplication can just keep his fairies as long as he uses them for good. So yeah, the theme of acceptance within the show, let's just shit all over that. And why does it have to be someone called Timmy Turner? Like, I get naming the law after him, but why does it have to be someone called Timmy Turner? So yeah, good job, Timmy, congrats, you're an adult. Good job keeping yourself and girlfriend financially stable with a 4th grade education.
Hey, I think Poof is trying to say something.
Finally! His first words!
Yo, man, it's gonna be so cool, man. We're gonna be bumping, man, trying to help the boys out. You know how we do it. You feel me, dog?
That's gonna take some getting used to.
Yeah, okay, cool. Fucking kill me. But then they fly out of the middle of nowhere with their fucking Back to the Future van. Yeah, that was Fairly Odd Movie. Grow up, you fucking retard, Timmy Turner. And yeah, overall it's fucking awful. Just watch Channel Chasers instead. And there are actually a surprising amount of positives considering how much shit the film is. Like I said, yeah, Drake Bell is fucking terrible in this movie. But like, he at least had chemistry with Tootie. Like, if he wasn't playing Timmy fucking Turner and the material's complete shit, I could actually see these actors working off each other really well. But the film heavily suffers from just misusing ideas that are brought up within the show. Like, seeing Timmy much older, maybe in like a high school setting, is something a manageable idea for a series finale. Like, which, keep in mind, the show never really got, yeah, there was a last episode, but it didn't end with any fanfare at all. Like, I think Butch just wasn't expecting the cancellation, was expecting to make 14 more seasons of this shit. Or it could have been intentionally done just in case Nickelodeon would ever revive it, which, like I said, could happen. Butch Hartman will eventually probably come crawling back with the 6th son of a bitch that he is. Dude, can you just admit that this Oaxis thing is a fucking disaster and is never going to happen, or if it does happen, it's going to fail horribly? Why does Timmy still have his fairies? What the hell? Like, Timmy losing his fairies is a concept that, as you get older, makes more and more sense. And keep in mind, the show finally ended in 2017. This came out in 2011, like I said earlier, so if you were to watch all the episodes in order, plus this, it would make no sense. In fact, there are plenty of things from the later seasons that you figured that they would be addressed because it's like an epilogue, but no. Why would you make this if the main show is still running and it's connected to the show and set afterward, but it's not over yet? And these movies so heavily rely on, hey, Drake Bell is in this, remember the thing he was in, which is actually worth a shit, to the, I'm actually surprised Josh Peck wasn't in this. It relies on Drake Bell this goddamn much. Like, people are gonna like it no matter what. Like, oh, Tom Holland is intended to play Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie, in which 90% of the audience will look at the casting direction and be like, hey, it's Tom Holland, it's the guy from the thing I like, which is actually worth a fucking shit. Better go watch it. This type of issue is especially present in Hollywood today as cinema becomes more and more of a fucking joke over time. Yeah, overall, these movies fucking suck. Yeah, you notice how I say these movies? Yep, that's right. It actually got a sequel. Not one, but 2 goddamn sequels. It got 5.8 million viewers, with its sequels getting less, but still exceptional view counts. Like, why am I complaining? I actually watched all 3 of these when it fucking came out. So let's look at the sequel, A Fairly Odd Christmas. Yep, that's right, they made a fucking Christmas sequel. So yeah, the Christmas sequel, A Fairly Odd Christmas, should actually be titled Drake Bell and his crew of fucking retards save Christmas or some shit. So we start up with Santa, who's looking pretty in shape for a guy known for his type 4 diabetes, and he's approached with an elf, which is the only elf that is an adult, let alone has dwarfism. And it turns out that kids' names are being removed from the list, and he's mad since someone else is delivering gifts for him. But anyway, we cut back to little Timmy being a retard because he was allowed to keep his fairies in the last movie, so he's just going around making charitable wishes, some of which aren't very charitable at all. Like, they give some girl on the street a monster truck, so yeah, you know, that's good. Like, it's a fucking monster truck. Of course she's gonna crash into the shit and make $1 million in fucking property damage. What the hell? Oh, they make a toy dinosaur into a giant Godzilla. Again, probably causing millions of fucking dollars in property damage, and probably getting killed in the process as well. Oh, they even cleared traffic on a bridge. Like, where did the other cars go? What the hell? Did you kill somebody? Or they make Paris go into an eclipse and set fireworks for some random fucking girl. They turn some desert into a grassland, and there's a camel. They straighten the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and they give, like, a girl in a third world country a unicorn. At least she's giving them food. Then they give criminals expensive TVs. Yeah, very charitable. But anyway, they crash the fucking band because they're retards. And then we run into the only good thing in this franchise.
North Pole? Ridiculous! Everyone knows there's no such thing as the North Pole or polar bears.
Shut the fuck up, Crocker. Yes, they do. They made a whole movie about it. So anyway, Cosmo and Wanda just meet some elves on the streets, and they're not disguised at all for some reason. Like, you realize people are gonna see you, but it turns out the fairies and the elves have some beef we don't know about, which presents another missed opportunity. Now, elves have been in the Fairly OddParents before, but this would be a good opportunity to incorporate another previous antagonist that have beef with the fairies. Like, why not have the anti-fairies, or say, the pixies, you know, which would work for Santa, and the elves just wouldn't give a shit. It's like, oh, I retired them, they don't want anything to do with me, we don't need the backstory, they just don't give a fuck, and Santa's just working with someone else, and the process still works the same. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't do that, which results in me not giving a fuck about the conflict because it's not consistent with the lore, and again, is a heavily missed opportunity. And if you're gonna have the characters have some notorious conflict, like, at least do a good job of establishing what it is. Like, the rivalry is not convincing at all, but then they go to the north, then Cracker, who again is unironically great in this movie, sneaks under the car.
So the North Pole does exist. Apparently so did polar bears.
Yo, holy shit, Norman, the motherfucking North is in this movie. Actually, no, this movie sucks. I'm sorry, Norm, but not even your thickness can save this movie.
I need a word with you.
Wait, why don't they know any of this? Timmy has met Santa multiple times in the original show. But anyway, Santa asked Timmy to stop making generous and totally not autistic wishes, but then one of the machines break down.
Using fairy magic in an elf-made building! It wasn't us!
Dude, Dude, what the fuck? You killed Santa. What the hell? Who's gonna watch me masturbate now? What the fuck? Good job, Rake Bell from Rake and Josh. Oh, actually, Santa's alive now, but he just has autism, much like me.
Santa, are you okay? Speak to me.
I'm fine, Mommy.
Ha ha ha. And ho, ho, ho. Santa Claus, are you hurt?
Santa Claus? Who's Santa Claus?
I'm the Easter Bunny.
Clearly, the fall scrambled Santa's head. He's forgotten who he is.
Who knows how long he's gonna be like this?
Oh, it gets worse, guys. I think those are rabbit trappings.
Oh, Tootie, you fucking cunt. You seriously never seen an obese man intentionally shit on the floor in front of a crowd of bunch of midgets? What the fuck? But anyway, Jorgen pops in and hands him the rules, even though he got the rules in the last movie. But fuck it, Timmy is Santa now, because Santa is autistic, like Nostalgia Critic's thumbnails. Lord forgive me for what I'm about to do with this one. But anyway, it turns out that Timmy can't be Santa because he's on the naughty list. So to get him off the naughty list, they have to find the one fucking elf with dwarfism. And Cracker comes along in this movie because, well, I actually like that, but it is really weird if your teacher walked up to you and was like, hey, you want to go through some autistic adventure to find a midget through the fucking North Pole? And I will give him credit for actually filming in a real environment and not a shitty set or a green screen, which they could have very easily done. It would still look like shit. In fact, it looks worse than the last one. That's why it looks so bad, but that's probably where all the budget went. Like the rendering on the ferries looks even worse this time around.
You're so short you couldn't kick a flea's knees. Burn!
Ugh. Whoa, bro, look at this epic footage of them ziplining on candy canes that they shot at a 720p fucking GoPro. Wow, that looks epic. They even find penguins, which don't live on the North Pole. And they run into animated gingerbread man voiced by Butch Hartman. And then Crocker murders one of them, and then they throw snowballs at them, and then it looks terrible. But turns out a wave of negative energy is making everybody depressed.
Oh, like what I feel all the time.
But then they cross the bridge, which is like really dangerous because there's a bridge in a movie, and then they find the elf with dwarfism, but it turns out that Timmy is on the naughty list because of its fucking autistic wishes. But it turns out that unsparingly, the girl that had the unicorn in the third world country is start in the sky. The monster truck girl is destroying shit with the monster truck. Godzilla is destroying Tokyo, and the criminals still have all the stuff that they have. Even though I thought he like donated the stuff to him through magic. I guess Timmy like stole all the shit for him. I don't know.
It was an accident.
Was it, Timmy?
Yeah, come on, that was an accident, much like me. So Timmy learns his lesson, and the moral here is, I guess, don't make stupid wishes. Like, I can't fucking do that in real life. Well, why is this incorporated? But since Cracker thinks that Timmy is a good person, he gets removed from the naughty list. But then they go back to the North Pole, they save Christmas, and not any of the people that he put in harm due to his stupid wishes, and Cracker flirts with a child.
So in essence, it was I who had saved everyone's lives on the bridge of
So yeah, that was Fairly Odd Christmas. Overall, just watch Christmas every day instead, or Merry Christmas, Drake and Josh instead. Now, this movie is surprisingly a huge step up from its predecessor. It's not good by any standard, let alone the original, but it actually knows what it is. It's a dumb kids movie, and even if you've never seen The Fairly Odd Parents, or they were cut out of this movie entirely, I could see a kid legitimately enjoying this. Like, it's just like a bad Disney Channel, or in the future, Disney Plus movie. Like, let's just say The Ultimate Christmas Present, which I remember for some reason. Which, yeah, it sucks. That's not high art or anything, but it's not horribly insulting and it makes sense in what is established. And here, I could see a kid actually liking this movie, much like I did when I watched it for the first time, even if it has nothing to do with the original show. But that I cannot say the same, however, for the third movie. Oh yeah, that's right, there's a fucking third movie. So, The Fairly Odd Summer is supposed to be the entire finale of the franchise or some shit. Kind of like Channel Chasers was the finale. The first movie was the finale. Or the finale was the finale. But this movie has nothing to do with either parts of the show, good or bad, or the first or second movie. But we start out with Timmy working an office job, which fails miserably at being funny because the entire gimmick of the original concept of the film is that he's a child that somehow never hit puberty, and it doesn't work with the setup at all and again, the film looks even worse with each goddamn installment, and the fairy character models look even worse. Like, look at the polish on the fairy world background, which isn't even CG, and then look at the fairies, like, what the fuck? Like, the character models are painfully reused in this one, and again, nobody cares that the fairies are clearly visible in public, but we get introduced to more characters, such as boy and girl, and it's extremely obvious that they will get fairies in the end because their parents neglect them even though they're rich and they're kind of just set for life. Like, no, they're not miserable. Timmy got fairies because he's fucking miserable. It's like, nope, but it turns out that Tootie works at some science institution that's trying to save dolphins or some shit, and they're going to Hawaii. And Timmy takes this special chapstick for dolphins, which he accidentally takes because he uses chapstick a lot. And it turns out that his dad has a check for more than the budget of this movie, mainly because he's setting up some work thing in Hawaii. Hell, actually, Jorgen promotes him to watch over this thing which powers all the fairy magic in the world, even though it was a staff that relied on people believing them, even if it destroyed their social life like Crocker. But since Timmy realized it's portable, he's gonna go to Hawaii to give all the shit to the people that he accidentally took. But and also, Crocker and Foop decide to team up. Even though I thought they kind of made up in the second movie, they decide that they're gonna team up as pre-existing villains, much like what they should have done with the first movie with Crocker and Doug Dimmadome.
That's right, Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
And then fuck it, everybody goes to Hawaii.
Vicky?
Oh no.
Timmy Turner! I should have known you'd be behind their escape!
Escape?
Oh, don't play smug with me, twerp! I'm their nanny! It's my summer job!
Oh yeah, Vicky is in this franchise. She was in the first movie as a pointless cameo. I didn't bring it up at all. They didn't do her dirty like my boys Chester and AJ, but yeah, good job replicating the cone tits though. And despite all their actions, it's never brought up once that they're siblings, which, you know, they are in the original show. But Crocker and Foop get the magic orb thing or something instead of just wishing that it was at the top of the volcano, which they decide that they're gonna throw it in. They successfully get it by Foop turning into a human and cosplaying Monkey Jones. Like, literally, it's the exact same fucking mask. What the hell? And yeah, they're gonna yeet it into the volcano. But Timmy and Tootie realize that they fucked up, so they split up, and then Vicky traps Cosmo and Wanda in a fridge, and Drake Bell just acts like a retard for an extensive amount of time. Yeah, I think they just realized the film wouldn't be long enough, even though it's only an hour and 6 minutes, or they had like an extra day on set that they didn't know they needed because this was not planned out at all. But Hartman's just like, fuck it, we have an extra day. Drake Bell, do whatever you want. Suck your own dick. I don't care. I'm gonna go pray to Jesus, get a cheeseburger, and post the Fairly OddParents Ugandan Knuckles crossover and many more autistic crossovers on my Twitter. But since Drake Bell is fucking off, Tootie, boy, and girl are chasing Vicky in these stupid-ass vehicles, and then they get to the summit of the mountain, and then they try to throw it in the lava, but the Snapchat filter emojis on Cracker prevent him from doing it. But Timmy tries to take it back, but Foop is holding it, and...
No, Timmy!
And holy shit, they killed Timmy, you bastard! Oh wait, it's Butch Hartman. It's always, and then the opposite happens. That's kind of his brand of humor, especially in the shitty seasons of the Fairly OddParents. So the opposite happens. Of course, I know it's going to happen. Just boom, just fucking bring back Drake Bell somehow.
What is it?
Is it an alien? Is it a ghost?
Mother?
Timmy? Whoa! How'd I do that?
Timmy, what happened to you?
I know what happened. When you fell into the lava with the apricarium, the heat must have made you absorb some of its power. Now you've got magical abilities of your own.
Do you realize what this means?
It means I'm just like you guys. This is awesome!
This has got to be the biggest middle finger I've ever seen to an audience. And first of all, why is Timmy now voiced by Tara Strong? Like, I guess it's consistent, but it's distracting. But again, it's inconsistent within the heavy themes of the good episodes. The show, as a kid, taught me that as you get older, not everyone, good and bad, will be involved in your life anymore. And these movies' entire point is that they shit all over that heavily promoted concept, and then to make him a fairy is just such a disrespectful and inconsistent ending. Oh, but then boy and girl get fucking fairy godparents. Kill me. Wait, why doesn't he have a black person's voice anymore? I guess they didn't want to do that. And yeah, that was all. Fairly Odd Summer, and honestly just watched School Stop the Musical instead. And the Fairly Odd Parents live-action trilogy, while every movie sucks in it, I wouldn't call it one of the absolute worst trilogies. Like, if I were to do a top 10 worst trilogies of all time, but it would be like an honorable mention, probably. Like, it's not as bad as, say, Norm of the North 1, 2, 3. But overall, yeah, it sucks. The first movie is conceptually terrible, and it's memorably on how poorly it handles the concept in some of the stuff that it does, and how inconsistent it is to the original property. But I don't say I would outright hate the second movie. It knows what it is. It's a bad fucking kids movie. It's still terrible, but it knows what it is, and I could still see a kid legitimately enjoying this because of the quality. Even if, yeah, it is complete shit. Third one is so fucking bad. I will probably remember absolutely nothing about it by the time I'm done editing this review. And as one of the absolute worst endings to a childhood icon, like imagine you watched all 10 plus years worth of episodes, and then finish it off with this, and get to the very end of the third movie, which is technically canon, I guess. I mean, like, Butch Hartman worked on all 3 of these, so I'm gonna assume they're canon, making it one of the worst endings to a horrible decline.
Odd parents, fairly odd parents, skinny bob doo bop 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 bop. Odd parents, fairly odd parents, skinny bob doo bop 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 bop.